Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. My name's Neil, and it's time for the next episode of QI. This is another subscriber request. A bunch of people have steered me towards this episode in particular. It's one of Sandi Toksvig's very first episodes from early on in Series N, which was her first series. And I know why I've been steered to this episode, sort of. It's a special guest episode, and the special guest is the lead singer of SLIPKNOT, which just doesn't sound like it ought to fit QI. Now, I'm aware of SLIPKNOT, but I wouldn't be able to identify their music. I wouldn't be able to pick the members of the band out from a lineup. But I do know that they're a very heavy modern metal band, and if you were to judge them by stereotype, you'd go, they have no place on a show like this. And yet, QI doesn't strike me as the kind of show that brings in guests that aren't prepared for what QI is, which leads me to believe that maybe the guy from SLIPKNOT, I'm sorry, I don't even know his name, is maybe a bit like a Dexter Holland type from The Offspring, and he's like, got a PhD in aerospace engineering or something along those lines, because believe it or not, smart people can be musicians too. So I don't know who else is on this episode. I would love it if this guy was up against like a David Mitchell type, but honestly, enough of you pointed me towards this that I'm just very curious to see what it's all about. This one's called Nosey, which is an oddly challenging tongue twister. Anyway, let's jump right into it, guys. Wanna wah wah. Wah wah.
Tonight's show is like a nightmare neighbour, nosy and noisy. Please make some noise for someone with a nose for the truth, Aisling Bea.
Alright, we like Aisling. She's great.
Nose for a bargain, Ross Noble. And nose for a good story, it's SLIPKNOT frontman, it's Corey Taylor.
Okay. He's got the ink, but he cleans up.
Nose for trouble, Alan Davies.
I have to assume if someone like Corey is on the show, then he's a fan of the show.
Noises, so Aisling goes. Oh. Have you got children, Aisling?
No.
No?
You'll go off that noise, I'm just saying.
Not that I'm aware of.
There's nothing nicer than the sound of a giggling baby, other than at night time if you don't know where it is.
Yeah, maybe parenting not for you. No.
I hate grapes. I am what I am.
Well, those are my children.
Oh, okay.
They're acting out scenes from Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
So my little one can't say S's, so instead of saying I hate snakes, she says I hate rakes.
Aww.
And that was the eldest one going, I am Mularam.
Temple of Doom. Love it.
I love One Direction.
Yeah.
Let me guess.
Okay.
Was that psychosocial?
No.
Oh.
Close, though.
It's the only one I know.
The Venn diagram of SLIPKNOT fans and QI fans. It's a very small sliver, would be my guess.
A favourite sound or just familiar?
Very familiar.
Just familiar. I want to hear the loudest thing anyone's ever shouted.
I went to see in the cinema Magic Mike when it opened.
Oh.
Really wants to be a carpenter, very much like Jesus. And Magic
Jesus
Mike.
is not a stripper first.
There are bits of the Dead Sea Scrolls that have yet to be interpreted. So.
On this giant cinema, his crotch just came flying at me. And I made this noise from my soul that was like...
And Guinness World Records happened to be there. Sorry, you've done lots of loud things. What do you think might be the loudest
Are there other Who
It's
distilled
something with their kids.
loudest
Okay.
rock
Yes, in fact, you're in the
concert
right.
ever?
ABC2 way.
Shush!
Okay, imagine. It is a word for shush. It is the loudest words have been shouted. It's in the
Quiet?
Guinness World Records.
Something like quiet.
It is quiet.
Really?
Absolutely right. It's the loudest word.
That's awesome.
She's a Belfast primary school teacher.
Plenty of practice.
Her world record has remained unbroken for 22 years. She logged 121 decibels, which is exactly the same as a chainsaw.
That's quite loud. Our shows top out at like 109, and those are quite loud. So 121 is stupid.
Do not make me get louder than Slipknot.
SLIPKNOT plus 12 decibels.
Is anybody here a loud burper? That's the other thing that there's a record for. Anybody do loud burping?
No, I'd need some fizzy pop.
Oh, Sandi.
Sandi!
If you start lighting your farts... It's unbelievable.
I see you missed one of the shows. The world's two loudest burpers, and I like that it's come down to two, are currently locked in a duel. 109.9 decibels.
No way.
Yeah, that was in February, and immediately it was broken by Neville Sharp, who comes from a town I want to go to in Australia called Humpty Doo.
Yeah, I've been to Humpty Doo, yeah.
Have you?
Yeah, and they had that guy on the telly, you know, slow news day. And they went, do one for us now, but he couldn't perform that time in the morning.
Oh, no.
And everyone was going,
It's the
Humpty
most
Doo.
Australian town I have ever heard of. Their biggest tourist attraction is a statue of a boxing crocodile. Neville Sharp beat Paul Hunn, and the day after, Paul, from Essex, broke back. He broke back with 117.9.
Well, he's got that wrong. That's the other end.
Louder than a Deep Purple concert in 1972, which broke the record for the world's loudest band and left 3 audience members unconscious.
Okay, so I guess that's louder than The Who.
So that became the goal for everybody, and then Motorhead broke that.
Oh.
And now, apparently, a man's throat has done the same.
It's louder.
What the hell am I doing?
Because all you've got to do is just turn it up.
To 11.
You would think. You would think.
About-
But you would be mistook.
Why? It's actually...
Oh, I don't know. I just thought it was fun to say that. Too.
He said, breaking the record has been a bit of a personal goal for me. Since my sister taught me to burp when we were children.
Sandy's got a decent Aussie accent.
Anybody able to crack their finger knuckles? That's the other thing people can do very loudly.
Oh, I hate
Can
it.
you do that?
I can do it, but not loud.
I can do it. Watch this.
Were you hit by a car this afternoon?
It's 83.2 decibels, so that's as loud as a food blender.
That's
Can you
crazy.
do it? I can't do it at all.
I just did it a little one, and now it'll be a couple of days.
These are knuckles, not amniotic fluid. Jesus. What can you do with these? I'm going to hand those out to you there.
It's
Is it
for
a-
erectile dysfunction, isn't it?
Phew. Crisis averted.
Oh, a duck! To
Yeah.
get ducks. It is a kind of whistle, but it's not to be played with the mouth.
Nose whistles, indeed.
Oh, can we all be in Slipknot now?
What's right?
It's like Junior Hannibal Lecter.
It's possible the nose flutes were a mistake. Alan's completely got the hang of it. It has the look of a woman trying to unwrap a toffee with her bottom. Yeah, don't give them back. There's a fantastic photograph in a 1909 copy of Tatler, which is a man in India playing the nose flute and the bagpipes simultaneously.
Oh, God.
It's described by one musicologist as a peak of woodwind virtuosity. Yours is a double-ended nose picker that you've got there, Alan. This was patented in 1998. No one has yet to manufacture them for general sale. So, they did a study of nose picking in 2000.
Got one.
What I have noticed is there are some bogies on there from a previous era.
Are these definitely being sold for nose picking?
We had...
Just go to the hospital. That is the most feeble. There's half of you going to not clapping their fingers.
Only 80% of teenagers use their fingers to pick their noses. What do the rest use?
The end of a pencil? From...
Yes.
A friend's finger.
Cotton bud.
No, it's nothing as nice as that. It's tweezers.
Pick your nose with tweezers?
Hang on, are you talking about the actual...
Yeah. Rhinotrichotillomania. And it is the compulsively pulling out your nasal hairs.
What was odd is when you pull my nose hair, my arse tightened. So next we're going to pull my arse hair and see what happens.
Is it just one long hair that connects?
You're just threaded.
What noise does a frog on helium make?
Frog in your throat.
Yeah. Yes.
Hey, Corey, if you want a klaxon, I reckon if you did a high-pitched ribbit, I reckon
Try
you
that.
could get
Try
one.
say ribbit.
yeah?
Yeah.
I might need a tissue.
Nobody knows, because as soon as you fill them with helium, and then, oof, and they're off.
And it has no effect on frogs whatsoever. And the reason is that frogs don't use the resonance of the air. They seem to create resonance by using their skin instead, and that is not affected by helium. What do you think would happen if you asked a dinosaur to suck on a party balloon?
Well, is there a difference between amphibian skin and reptile skin?
It'd sound like...
Actually, Corey, you would be right. Pumping helium into the tank of a Chinese alligator affects her voice as it does ours.
So it's lower.
They make it lower.
Well, the thing is, it just changes the timbre. Because it's true of alligators, it must be true of dinosaurs because of the alligator being a
That would be a
descendant.
really bad, like, next Jurassic Park, like
Yeah.
the third one.
They also discovered that giraffes hum.
For pleasure.
Well, we don't know, but they hum at night.
Couldn't it be three-part harmony, like the Beverly
degrees?
Sisters?
That, to me, looks like the giraffe version of going into the loo with one of your friends when she's about to vomit. And
Hold his horns back.
The one on the left's going, don't take a picture now.
One day they didn't come home and everybody's very worried about them. And it turned out a giraffe had taken that rather interesting shape there and tried to hump their mini and got stuck over the car. And they couldn't open the doors and then the giraffe couldn't get off. It was...
We'll knock them off in the Dartford Tunnel.
Each for you two. And
Nose horns?
here,
I'm
and
guessing
I
they're
want
not...
to know
It is the
what
nose
noise
episode.
Is that for?
Oh, boy.
Oh, is this going to be some sort of Latvian arse trumpet or something?
Does anybody know? It is for a heartbeat. What kind of heartbeat?
Really?
It is still used. It is for the fetal heartbeat. It's a website of fetal heartbeat.
no, it's too late. He's dead.
So, conversation tubes introduced in the 1600s. These ones are actually...
This will work, will it?
yeah, if you speak...
Jesus, Sandi! Hello,
Oh, I totally hear you.
Germany calling.
I can hear the C. Is that what you're supposed to...
You look like if Mickey Mouse and Prince Charles had a child.
Okay, I wonder will this, like, amplify it between that and the... Oh, no way! Just to get on the show again, you must be joking.
it is actually Queen Victoria's hearing aid. It is possible.
Did like an earwax expert, like lick it and go, Queen Victoria.
I think if you are an earwax specialist, you probably don't lick. I'm just saying. I don't want to... Right, speaking of ears, I'm going to play you 2 recordings, okay? One is of hot water being poured into a bowl, and one is of cold water being poured into a bowl, and I want you to tell me which is which. So here's the first one.
They sound different. That's hot. That sounds hot. Yeah.
So...
the first one sounded hot.
I need a wee.
First one sounded like emptying a kettle, and the second one sounded like filling a kettle.
Oh! Would you like... yeah.
The audience is taken to mocking me. They just turned. No one's taken a piss out of that idiot. It's up to us.
I think that woman went...
That was admiration.
Admiration?
Yeah,
the sound of admiration. I've never heard that before.
Have we listen?
It sounds hot.
Can we just bear in mind, this is QI, so I've got a feeling it might be somebody pouring soup onto a horse.
They're 2 bird calls.
Hands up who thinks the first one is hot. And hands up who thinks the first one is cold.
Oh, that's weird.
OK, 96% correctly usually identify the first one as hot. As yes, molecules in it have more energy from the heat. As when hot water hits a hard surface, it breaks up into smaller particles, and it makes a higher pitched splashing noise than cold water.
Oh, interesting. Cool.
Why would you want a falcon's nose with you on a plane?
Is it because it holds exactly 150 millilitres?
They've got vents, haven't they? They've got those things on the to
Nostrils.
stop them bursting, isn't it?
Well, not really so much bursting as being aerodynamic.
Well,
it's
no,
really...
Yeah, same thing.
Because it can reach speeds of up to 200 miles an hour, which is unbelievable.
Well, peregrine falcons, sure.
But it can still breathe because it has a cone-shaped structure within each nostril. And so engineers studied... I love this. They studied this, and they made a rather similar device, a metallic cone, which now goes in the opening of jet engines, and it allows air to enter the engines even when travelling at supersonic speeds.
That's bird strike. That's a big problem with hitting the edges. And the other one is frog strike from the Helium frogs.
Kingfishers have improved the design of bullet trains as well. They now have long, pointy noses, and it stops the air cushion building up in front of the tunnels, and it makes them more aerodynamic. And
Way
so
to go,
it makes them more
Kingfishers.
Energy efficient. Isn't that lovely?
Do you think they're going to start killing all the birds they don't need anymore? Because we've learned enough.
I've got it.
The engines are working, the train is making no sound. Kill the birds!
Don't give them ideas, Alan. Don't give them ideas.
What is this? There we go.
Is that a shell, or is...
What do you reckon that is?
You know, it looks like
Well, it looks like a bit of a brain.
an organ.
It's been lent to us by the Horniman Museum, which is, if you haven't been, it's one of the best museums I've ever been to. It's fabulous.
They have all kinds of animal bits and bobs in that place.
It's fantastic,
Yeah.
yes, and very good cheesecake. It is, in fact, a sperm whale eardrum.
Oh.
It's an extraordinary thing. Which of these weighs the same as a blue whale's heart?
I am Ram.
Ross.
The beetle
I'm going to say the beetle.
is the classic. Therefore, it's...
I have heard of the blue whale because people have. The heart is about the size of a mini.
Well, here's the extraordinary thing, is that nobody checked. 2015, which frankly has been the year of checking things we... turns out that, in fact, it weighs about the same as a male gorilla would weigh. There is... Well, isn't it extraordinary?
Were they doing a transplant?
They're going to put a beetle in.
It's also said that the aorta is big enough for a human to swim through. That's not true. It is big enough to put your head in, but... In other disappointing comparative anatomy news, our intestines apparently don't have the surface area of a football pitch. That's one of the things that people often used to claim. And it's only about half the size of a badminton court.
Like, it was worth it for the truth.
If I toot my horn and flash my lamps at exactly the same time, what is the first thing that you will notice?
I am
Oh,
Ram.
Ross, you quick on the buzzer today.
flashing the
up dog.
lamps.
Every girl needs a hobby. Do you know what dogging is, Dan?
Should I?
Yeah. It's a quaint old English custom.
Go on a limb
Yeah.
and say that I shouldn't do that?
Just give it a try.
So the people are doing it specifically so dog watchers will watch.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you? You talk about Americans.
You know, if it was in America, it would be people having sex and firing guns at the same time.
If the car's a really long way away,
Yeah.
the light will get to you before the sound of the horn does.
Yes.
Like a thunderstorm principle.
Yeah.
But you
The brain
react
needs to
quicker to
process
sound,
both. It's not
I'm
enough
guessing.
for it. It processes sound faster than it processes light. So if you're close enough, then you'll hear the horn first.
I wonder if that's an evolutionary thing, because things that are dangerous to humans make noises in the dark.
Ears are
Not a
great,
lot
aren't
of
they,
that.
Sandy? I think that's a message for people back home today. Ears, they're great. Ears, don't knock them till you've tried them.
What?
It was coming. It was coming. You knew it was coming.
Which vitamin can stop you getting a runny nose?
Not
Rough
C.
one again.
If you say C, you're gonna get klaxoned.
See?
C.
Yeah.
The one you want is the sunshine vitamin.
D.
D, absolutely right. So, if you put a duck in an echo chamber, what are you
We know ducks echo.
going to play? What are you likely to hear?
You'll hear its echo.
I know this only because Lee Mack has a show.
No, don't
called
do
Ducks,
it.
Quacks,
Right.
don't echo.
And what's the answer?
Ducks, quacks, don't echo.
Yeah, don't do it. That's come up before.
In fact, most ducks don't quack at all. So
Oh.
real? Yes.
This show, man.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this show, man. I'm with you, Corey.
They yodel.
What?
Yes, they yodel.
We went to Kew Gardens the other day, and there's a lot of activity in the ponds. Not nice.
No.
And you're taking the kids.
Yeah.
And
Very rapey.
there's a woman at the gate giving out guide maps and stuff, and she said the duck's behaviour at the moment is despicable.
No foreplay, is there? Nothing at all.
It's outright assault.
In last place with -9 points, it's Corey. With -4, it's Ross. In second place with -2, it's Aisling.
What? This is an Alan Wins episode?
Runaway winner with 8 points, it's Alan.
Crazy. Look what happens when you get positive reinforcement from the audience. All right. Tell me in the comments below if I'm wrong, but my theory would be is somehow or other Corey Taylor of Slipknot is a big fan of QI. I don't know how that started. Maybe he was just on tour in the UK at some point and stumbled upon the show in his hotel room and became a fan. But he's a big enough name that he made that knowledge known, that fandom known, and the show reached out to him, or he reached out to the show, and he got offered, hey, do you want to come by and do an episode? In which case, it is now my goal to become famous enough that I can be a guest star on QI. That would be on my Mount Rushmore of lifetime achievements. That would be so cool, just to appear on a show like this. He was not what I expected, but I didn't know what to expect. Like, you just sort of have preconceived notions about rock stars and metal musicians and whatnot, and no, thoughtful, funny, fun episode. Aisling Bea's great. I've seen Ross a couple of times. I feel like he's a regular and I've missed a lot of his episodes, but I like him a lot. I want to see more of him. And you wouldn't know that this was Sandi's third episode. I guess she was familiar enough with the show being a guest, but it's different being the host for sure. I can only imagine. But she's already got a really good handle on the show. And bravo to Alan for winning an episode with like a really solid score of 8. I can't recall that happening too often. But yeah, a lot of fun. Thank you guys for recommending this episode to me. I'm really glad I checked it out. And stay tuned next week for another subscriber recommendation. And until then, everybody, take care, stay healthy, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.